a lot further than you would have gone if you were alone. So I definitely do agree on the fact that human resources is a big part in addition to financial resources. And also, of course, things like tapping into your network. So the human resources are the same people who connect to somebody. You know, I know you, and through you, I got to know other people. Through you, even when you were recruiting for GIG participants, I was able to connect you to another school that you could add to the list of schools that you recruit from. And so sometimes, like they say, your network determines your net worth. You are able to tap into the networks of the various people who are part of your team or are supporting your vision in a way, and even reach out to a larger community out there who become very resourceful and who might be able to do things that it doesn't just take money to do, but it takes people. You know, it takes somebody picking up a phone and calling somebody on your behalf and pushing a door open for you, and probably money couldn't have been that. And so I hope that even as we have this conversation, people will know that from the idea, you know, you need to act on it, and whilst you're acting on it, you kind of raise the funds and getting the money, but it's not just about the funds. If only you be able to place value on even your net and the people around you and the people who can be part of the vision, you see that you already have a lot more social capital than you imagined that you did. And this, like I said, has really worked for me at STAAR Women. I think another thing that has worked for me at STAAR Women is the fact that, in fact, for the last 1 year, we have not stopped working. So even if it means it takes one little action a day or a week, you know, we are always doing something. I think, I don't know if I should say Corona was a blessing in disguise, but Corona gave us that, you know, time to reflect and re-strategize and think about how we can work better as a team. And every week there is a plan for everybody on the team. There is a target, there is an action that needs to be done. And I think that as we take these steps, we realize that we are growing from one point to another. And so I want to ask you about consistency. I think it has worked for me. Is there a time that you think it could be with the GEIG project, or it could even be with the EANP consults, that even working in bit but keep moving has worked for you?
I just wanted to add on to what you were saying before. When I first came to Ghana, I realized that people were very resistant to partnering, right? And I would implore people, anyone, especially women that are starting out with any idea, that your idea is as good as the next person. And so for me, it's critical and so important that we don't work in silos, because if I have something, my energy combined with yours is twice the energy, and together, who knows what we could do, right? And I wish more than anything that our people, especially, I don't want to say something against women, but I wish more than anything that we would hold hands, join forces, and like partner more, because there are a lot of organizations such as GIG. I remember when I came and I was trying to survey the environment, which is another thing that I think people should do when they're trying to birth an idea. Do an environmental scan, figure out what the landscape is like. I think these days the buzzword is the ecosystem, right? So figure out what's happening in the ecosystem, and try to figure out which people have positions of power enough for you to partner with. And together, if you're an ally with them, you can be a launching pad for something great. So I think that it's very critical that we decide to partner together, because there's strength in numbers, instead of trying to duplicate what every other person is doing. And most of the time, if we're duplicating efforts, there's so little funding for everyone, and people are going to come at you like, isn't so and so doing the same thing? Why should I support you? Do you understand? So if Jackie and Elizabeth work together hand in hand on something that's in the end supporting like women and girls, then I don't see the point in me or you or anybody else achieving the same goal by themselves. Because for me, it's
Right.
for the greater good than
Yeah.
the individual. Yeah. So
I agree.
I just went off on a tangent with the partnerships thing.
Okay.
So
It's okay.
okay.
It's fine. It's still a very important note or
Mhm.
point that you had to make, because I think that one thing that intentional about, especially as we have the International Women's Day coming up. For us as
Mhm.
STAAR Women, so I know the general theme for this year is choose to challenge, and we
Mhm.
are choosing to promote the challenge of women supporting women. We're being
Mhm.
very specific with women mentoring women, so
Mhm.
older women mentoring younger women. And
Definitely.
I think that the concept of women supporting women is something that we need to keep drumming home.
Mhm. Mhm.
We do not need to compete against each other.
Not at
When
all.
we can actually collaborate and
Mhm.
partner, and share best practices and share
Definitely.
ideas, and
Definitely.
actually
Definitely.
support each other to birth that
Mhm.
which they are pregnant with.
Mhm.
I mean,
Mhm.
actually, this is something that happens, especially for us as Ghanaians,
Mhm.
Africans and Ghanaians. I think from what I see, when a woman is pregnant, everybody in the community, everybody in the family is happy for her.
Mhm.
Everybody wants to chip in and support
Mhm.
here and
Mhm.
there.
Mhm. Mhm.
Everybody wants to help you. What do you want to eat? What do you want to do? Can I do
Mhm.
this for you? Can I fetch water for you? Everybody in the social network is trying to kind of hold that woman, because
Of
you
course.
are
Yeah.
carrying something so precious
Yeah.
to everybody, not
Because
just
the
you.
least
Uh,
mistake, if you're not careful, you'll lose the precious thing that you're trying to bring into the world.
yeah,
And I
right,
think that's a
right,
good analogy that you're making.
right.
I think it's
Yeah.
a very good analogy that you're
Right.
making. Yeah.
So that kind of support is something that we should be able, because we're very good at that, and
Mhm.
it's one of our strengths, as a society or community here in Ghana. People will actually move and come and stay with you. Your mom will be there to support
Mhm.
you.
Mhm.
And a
Mhm.
lot of times the people that are supporting you
Definitely.
are women. You know,
Definitely.
and this
Definitely.
is something that it's kind of, we are nurtured to be that way.
Mhm.
And the young girl is helping out, and the older woman is helping out. How can we, I think it's about time that we become intentional or focus
Mhm.
on translating that kind of support that we give
Mhm.
when women
Mhm.
are pregnant with actual babies,
Mhm.
to when women are pregnant with also ideas, business
Mhm.
ideas, project ideas, initiatives, whatever they
Definitely.
need to. People are conceiving all sorts of ideas as they go along, and they're trying to be profitable and also be impactful,
Mhm.
and be the change they want to see in their community. So
Mhm.
whilst we're trying to be those change makers, there are so many other women who can be there for us and support
Mhm.
us. You can actually be intentional about
Mhm.
choosing somebody and saying, I'm going to guide you, I'm going to coach you, I'm going to
Definitely.
mentor you, I'm
Yeah.
going to relay some of the lessons that I've learned
Mhm.
over the years, so that you avoid some of the mistakes that I made.
Mhm.
And so I
Mhm.
think that point that you were making is very
Mhm.
important. It's very important, and it's good that you
Mhm.
highlighted on that. Don't
Okay.
worry
And
that you
I
went
just
off.
remembered the initial
Go
thing
ahead, girl.
about consistency.
Yes.
Consistency is so key, right? I think if you get allow yourself to be caught up in the day to day
Mm-hmm.
whatever, right? You end up realizing that all these distractions are taking you away from your dream. And if
Yeah.
you're really intentional about what you want to do,
Mm-hmm.
every day set aside 15 minutes,
Mm-hmm.
half an hour, 1 hour to plug at your dream, because that's the only way that you'll
Mm.
see it come to fruition.
Mm.
And so, yeah,
I love that.
consistency is very critical when you're trying
Yeah.
to bring
Yeah.
something from nothing to something.
Yeah. I love that, and I love the fact that you made it looked very easy or
Mhm.
realistic, or very I mean very um uh achievable. You
Mhm.
said just 1 hour. So if
Mhm.
even if you have your 9 to 5,
Mhm.
you're doing your full time already,
Mhm.
but you have an idea, you're trying to start a side hustle,
Yeah.
you're trying to, and start a new project, but you still want to keep doing your 9 to 5, like I do, all that you have to do is that, when I close from work and I come back, or in the morning before I go, what can I do for the 1 hour just to build that project, what can you to plug in some work into that dream, into that thing that I'm trying to bet. What can I do? And so even trying to do just an hour a day, even if you can do an hour a day, just make sure 30 minutes a day, you're picking that project book. I have a project book. You're picking up that project book and checking what you did yesterday and how you can build on that. And before you realize at the end of the month, that have gone further from where you were at the beginning of the month, where you would have been stuck there if you had not done anything, not done any 30 minutes or even 1 hour, if you had decided to be there. So that also is a very good point. Now, I can't believe that we've actually run out of time, but we're still going to continue the conversation because this is really good and it's heading somewhere. And I see a lot of people who are watching us are really enjoying and giving us thumbs up. Thank you, everyone who is watching. Hadassah, I see you. Big sis Nana Sewa Nkrumah, thank you for joining me all the way from Israel. I see Lydia. Thank you all for joining us. We're very happy. If you have any questions or you have started any projects or initiatives and you think you have ideas to share with us, please feel free to drop it in the chat box on Facebook, in the comment section on Facebook, and I will read it out for Elizabeth and I to, if it's a question, we will try to answer. If it's a comment, I'll read it out and we can all kind of reflect on what you are also sharing with us. So now let's come to the very end of the conversation. A lot of people want to see impact or profits from day one, depending on what you're doing. I don't know what to think about that. Sometimes I'm that person, I must say. But knowing that you have worked certain parts already, you have the experience, and what would you say? What will you advise? Should we be fixated on profit from one, or we should be allowing ourselves for some time to see what happens? I don't know. I'm really at that point where I'm still looking at the idea. Is it being profitable? Am I where I am? It's been over a year. How patient should we be? And what should we be looking for? Why is it important to even think of knowing how profitable and impactful you are being? Sorry, my questions, I just bring them out of my thoughts as we have the conversation, so they can be a bit...
It's completely fine. It's completely fine. I was just going to say, when I started doing GIG, I was just all in. I didn't take a salary. Well, up until just last year, I was not taking a salary because for me, I felt like if you're doing charity work, right? Charity, quote unquote, then I'm not the person who's the beneficiary, and I don't like using that word because we're all in it together. I'm not benefiting. The students are gaining something from us, but I was paying staff. We were like making sure students' fees and all these other needs are met, right? But then I got to a point where I told myself, what about your needs? Because you know me, there were days when I would be texting you like 2, 3 a.m. in the morning, and you know that like I was all engrossed in the work. And
I know.
At some point, I said to myself, I need to maybe, even if it's not what I know I'm really worth, I need to give myself something like 50 cities or 100 cities per month to know that the work that I did, I'm getting something out of it. And I would tell people, be patient. For me, I always feel like I'm not the most money driven when it comes to my dreams and getting those things to be on the ground. If I was driven by money, I don't think GIG would be where it is right now. So when you're starting out something, you have to realize that you'll, in the beginning stages, have to bootstrap a little bit or a lot of it before you see things get to where they need to be, unless you're lucky enough and some venture capitalist decides to fund your dream. If it's that good, somebody would decide to fund it. So I would say that don't be driven by money, but at the same time also don't underestimate what your worth is. and compensate yourself for your time and your efforts that you're putting into this kind of work. And now with my consultancy, I think I'm very diligent about, I'm posting a little bit more on LinkedIn as opposed to when I was posting about Facebook. It was Facebook heavy. I'm posting more on LinkedIn because my target audience is a little bit different. My goal is to have at least 4 clients for this year. And I posted, I do a Monday motivation quotes every Monday. And I posted a couple of weeks ago, and it was about entrepreneurs having a dream similar to what we're discussing. And I always end with, if you have a dream or if you have something that you want to bring to life, contact me. And I put my email address or inbox me. And then someone reached out to me. Actually, 2 people reached out to me after seeing that post. And I think people still are aligning me with my nonprofit background. And so after that, they gave me the ideas. And for me, because I'm so passionate about this kind of work and trying to see people actually execute what they want to achieve in life, I was gung-ho about helping them. I let them know what my fees and my terms and conditions were from the beginning. They agreed to it. They signed the contracts that I emailed to them. And then I delivered within a day or 2. And then I'm hearing people say, I don't have the money. I don't have the money to pay you right now. Can I pay in installments? And the reality is, as much as I'm not driven by money to do this work, people need to understand that, like, if you don't have the money to keep you going, you also have other things that you need to support, right? Like, I have my upkeep. I have family things to cater for. I have my internet bill to cater for every month. So if you think that someone is being money hungry by asking you to pay for a service that they have gone to school and like have spent years honing their craft, it's the least that people can do is to pay people for what they're worth. Yeah, just pay people what they're worth. And I think if we all decided to do a little bit more of that, we would advance a little bit better in our dreams.
I think that we definitely need to have a part 2 of our conversation, because there are some things that you were talking about that I think you need to come back and teach us. So you were being very purposeful with your posting. You switched from Facebook to LinkedIn and all of that. These are some of the things that I would love that you come back and talk to the women who are bettering their projects and trying to do something, start and grow something. But before I leave you to go, so you're going to definitely come back. We'll have that conversation and see what we can of that. But before that, I definitely want to hear more about the consult, EANP consult, and some of the work that you do, who you support, because I was very interested here when I heard you talk about how you support, you got people from LinkedIn and you work with them. Who are you targeting? Who are you working with? Just in case there is a woman watching that you can be of that support to.
Okay, so
tell us more.
I guess the unit of currency with EANP is individuals, right? Without individuals, there would not be any startups or any ideas. So I'm supporting individuals to groom and transition their ideas into something that could be something somewhat sustainable. So it's individuals with early stage ideas and aspirations to do something with these ideas. I support them with, or I would say we, because it's not just me who's doing this. We support them with strategic planning, communications planning, project management, and programs development, since that's my background in the nonprofit space. Nonprofits are also dear to my heart. Early stage SMEs, people like yourself, early to middle stage ventures that maybe just it needs a little bit of a nudge to get to where with strategic planning and communications planning, because when it comes to my business management skill set, I think that's where my strength is.
Awesome. Thank you for sharing. I have a question from somebody for you.
Okay.
Let me read the question and then I will read the very lovely comments that another person has shared. So Hadassah is asking you that what motivates you to keep going? So she wants to know what motivates you. So whilst you think about the answer to that, I just want to read from Nana Sewa and Kroma. She said, your passion will drive your dreams at the start of your project. Dwelling on the financial gains at the start might be a distraction of that exceeds the passion for the dream. So yes, I definitely agree with that. So the passion is important. It will drive you to actually start. But she's saying that don't get fixated on your finances at the beginning, because it might distract you, it might discourage you, it might stop you from even going on. So don't be too much fixated on it, even though it's important, but dwelling is the key word. Don't dwell on it. So yes, acknowledge and recognize that it's an important resource that you need, and you also want to start making profit. But don't dwell on it at the start, because it might be very distractive, it might be very discouraging, it might give you some bad energy that will prevent you from wanting to move on. Thank you very much, Big Sis, for sharing. For staying with us from the beginning to now, and also for contributing with this very good comment. Elizabeth, I'm back to you for your answer to the question.
The question was, what motivates me, what drives me, right? I would say, so I just, when the question was put to me, I thought of a movie that I saw long ago. I think I was in high school, called Field of Dreams. And there's a quote that still resonates with me. It says, if you build it, they will come, right? And so for me, I think what drives me, motivates me every day when I wake up is knowing that this is what I envisioned something to be. And so I'm building on it little by little each day. Yeah. So that's my motivation. And I would.
Thank you.
Yeah, that's about it.
Yeah. You are definitely coming back, because there is more that we can have a conversation about. So please keep that on the radar, that you're coming back. But I also just wanted to share one thing that motivates me to keep going. What motivates me to keep going is that, again, I see the vision. I just look deep into the dream, and I know that if I'm able to contribute my part to empowering women and girls, one day we will be in a better position in society than we find ourselves right now. And so that is why we're having STAAR Lounge. One of the things that we do, we are motivated to do it, to give people information, to share knowledge, to share skills, to share expertise, to give some kind of guidance and coaching through this platform, so that others may also come to have a certain understanding. Others may also be inspired and motivated. Others might also take the steps to start a journey that they have been longing to start, and a journey that will in the end be profitable, not just for them, but also the people that they serve through their projects or programs or initiatives. So yes, we are motivated to do that.
Definitely.
That's why we have the STAAR Masterclass for Pi coming up on Friday, the 26th of March. Is something that we're motivated to do, because we know that more and more women who are gaining skills through our masterclasses are able to start their own businesses, or add products, new products to their existing businesses, or even go on to just do something. You don't necessarily have to start a business with it, but you gain the skill, like what we did for the soap class, and people are producing soap, hand sanitizers, shampoos, and all that for home use, and that's saving them money that they would have used to buy. So they're building on the skill. They are also supporting their families, and they are just getting ready if they want to start a business to launch, And so we're motivated to do the masterclass. So if you haven't registered, we still have a few spots open. Please make sure you reserve your spot by clicking on the link that will be dropped in the comments section, and register to join us for the STAAR Masterclass at the end of this month. Also, I'm throwing a very special invitation to every one of you who is watching, that come Saturday at 1:30 p.m. GMT, we are launching our STAAR mentoring program right here on Facebook. So you will join us at 1:30 p.m. GMT and on Facebook STAAR Women's page for the launch of our STAAR mentoring program. It will be a very brief but powerful event, and I need you to be part of this history that we're making ahead of the celebration of this year's International Women's Day on 8th March, which will be on Monday. And so we choose to challenge this year. And our challenge is that we are pushing for more women to support more women through mentoring. So women supporting women and women mentoring women. And so if you like that page, you just chanced on this video, please make sure that you like our page and follow us on Twitter, on Facebook, on Instagram, and even visit us on our websites. You will find us everywhere with STAAR Women Hub, on Facebook, on Twitter, on Instagram, and even our website is www.starwomenhub.org. And so on that note, I want to say a very big thank you to you, my dear Elizabeth. I know how busy you are, but you made time for us last week, and then by the power of ECG, we couldn't this, but I apologize to everybody in the beginning that we sincerely apologize for not coming your way last week, because we both experienced power outages in our various locations, and so it was difficult for us to come. So thank you for making time last week. Thank you for making time this week. And thank you in advance for the time that you'll be making very soon.
Very soon. All right.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate your time, and thank you for sharing even your experiences. Thank you for sharing your work that you do with us. So we know that we have one more woman that we can fall on if we need support and if we need any form of strategic help with our businesses. We're so grateful that you joined us this evening for the conversation.
Definitely.
I'm going to let you go now. And I just want to say thank you to everybody who joined us. I saw you, I felt the love. Thank you for everybody who shared and clicked on that like or love button, or everybody who shared this video. Thank you very much. If you watch it later, we still encourage you to share with one woman or a young lady who might find it beneficial. Thank you. Have a lovely rest of the week. And remember, as I always say, let your light shine, and also let her light shine. Let that woman and let that girl's light shine. So before I go, I just want to say I love you. And it's been me, your very humble host, Mama Jackie, coming your way with our guest, Elizabeth Ikea Patterson. Thank you very much, Ikea, as I love to call you.
Yeah, we'll talk soon. Thank you.
See you all again next week, Thursday at 7 p.m. We love you. Let